Gentrification, this two-faced phenomenon affecting the social and economical part of the residential area, existed from the past. With the introduction of social media in the contemporary global society, it's now more apparent and obvious to witness. Its social ties with individuals of different races living in the different regions altogether, globally, brought information a step forward into people's daily life, causing gentrification to occur effortlessly and rapidly. There are many factors causing gentrification.
Proximity.
Either because it's trendy or because they need a cheaper place to stay.
How close it is to the city,
But in modern days it mostly occurs through social media. Gentrification, referred to as the rehabilitation of derelict housing and the consequent transformation of the character of a neighborhood through the influx of more affluent residents and investment, often brings economic and social growth over the gentrified area. The warped representation on digital platforms have material consequences, as they not only reflect but also promote gentrification since the other users become interested. Ultimately, this reaction continues in cycle, enlarging the influence of social media in raising the popularity of selected areas. This is the common practice occurring throughout social media, especially on short-form contents such as Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts.
I think social media plays a large role in gentrification. TikTok, you see best restaurants under £25 and people come. And it's good for the local area, of course.
I think it plays a massive role in gentrification, especially in an area of a social spectacle, you could say, and the type of people walking up and down that road is much different to them what it would have been maybe 10 or so years ago.
I think it plays a huge role. People Brixton's this cool area. I think it's really interesting to see Shoreditch and now Bethnal Green starting to become gentrified. I think now it's kind of making a big trend out of it, and you're very trendy to live in all these different areas.
Media contents attract audience by using words such as hidden spots, jam, or must-goes, or utilizing tags, reposts in order to produce huge volumes of advertising content to appear more frequently on users' feed. Resultantly, this magnifies visits, initiating more economic flows within the community. Eventually, as the area becomes richer through vibrant tourism followed by investment, both the economic and social aspects of the area escalate. This is often seen in many cities around the world, and among them London is also facing gentrification simultaneously. Hackney, Peckham, and many more.
I think London is getting gentrified.
I'd say Hackney has changed dramatically over my lifespan that I've lived there.
It's been being gentrified since for a very long time, but nowadays it's coming at a rapid pace.
There's an influx of chain companies and
franchises.
Yeah, it's become franchised, and the cultures seems like it's getting sapped out. It's still there, but it's just not as much as it used to be.
Although gentrification does profit to a certain extent, it also makes loss in the area. The biggest challenge it causes is peaking housing prices.
What you'll see happening in Hackney is that there used to be a lot of Turkish restaurants and Caribbean restaurants, and when you price them out and you put in these big chains like Gales, it no longer becomes trendy to live there, so it's just expensive for no reason.
Housing price rise means the exile of the original residents, and this means people who can't afford their housings are pushed to the neighbouring boroughs or areas, even to rural areas in extreme cases. This creates another area filled with deprivation and poor condition, ultimately creating social inequality between people's residential areas.
Well, I have a family friend who owned a restaurant in the old Elephant and Castle, who's had to move their shop, and because they've moved it, she is making less money because no one knows where it is and is not receiving as much customers, so their livelihood has been affected.
I'd say it's kind of seeing different demographics. I've definitely noticed more white people came in ever since these new tower blocks started coming up, and I know that Limehouse, which is also close to Poplar, is starting to become much more trendy and is starting to become a much more high income area, so you get the influence of that and people coming through.
Gentrifying an area is proven to enhance the quality of life for its residents and the area itself by bringing visitors, investors, and government's attention. However, the inhabitants who are unable to afford the rising housing prices are not compensated for their withdrawal, as they are replaced with wealthier communities. This reaction brings social inequality in the area, ultimately exhibiting inequality caused from media caused contemporary gentrification. This is Social Development Media.